Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, December 21st, 2024, featuring crypto, politics. Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, December 21st, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from December 6th to December 12th, 2024. PT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die With a Smile. Madhu Banti Bakshi and Divya present AJ Ki Rat. Feelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's global weekly top songs from December 6th to December 12th, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die With a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US digital top seller starting December 9th, 2024. No More Snow, Hogwarts Legacy, Fueled Up, Master Spy, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, to Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis ImageLarge is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. A large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. U.S. data center power consumption might almost triple by 2028, according to a report supported by the Department of Energy. Google plans to provide AI-generated conversational responses in its search engine. Sam Altman regards Elon Musk as a friend despite ongoing lawsuits and bullying, as describes Musk as a bully, yet a legendary entrepreneur. Putin indicates no immediate plans to conclude the Ukraine conflict during extended TV session. European Union has allocated 130 billion euros in aid for Ukraine, according to von der Leyen. Ukrainian Prime Minister announces cessation of Russian gas transit through Ukraine on January 1, 2025. Ascension, a U.S. hospital operator, announced that 5.6 million individuals were impacted by a medical data breach that occurred in May. Meanwhile, McDonald's India delivery system allegedly revealed personal customer information because of an API bug. Additionally, the U.S. has charged a dual Russian and Israeli national with being a developer of the Lockbit ransomware group. CFPB takes legal action against JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo regarding fraudulent Zelle payments. In the United States, Meta's WhatsApp receives a court decision that holds the spyware developer NSO responsible for hacking, with the judge determining that the NSO group is liable for spyware attacks on 1,400 WhatsApp user devices. The Play ransomware gang asserts a breach in data theft at Krispy Kreme. Italian privacy watchdog imposes $15.5 million fine on OpenAI for data usage in ChatGPT. Malaysia declares Facebook and TikTok required to obtain license, according to NST reports. The European Union urges Apple to make AirDrop and AirPlay accessible to Android and other platforms. Google proposes to relax its search agreements in the U.S. antitrust case settlement. Qualcomm asserts victory in its trial with ARM regarding chip design licenses. Over 140 Facebook moderators in Kenya have been diagnosed with severe PTSD. Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney unexpectedly reunited in London to perform a timeless Beatles classic. FIFA and Netflix have entered into a groundbreaking agreement to broadcast the 2027 and 2031 editions of the FIFA Women's World Cup. Blue Sky is planning to launch a paid subscription tier that will offer exclusive features. Elon Musk sparks backlash with post claiming only far-right AfD can save Germany. Harvard Law enrollment plummets for Black and Hispanic students, as Black enrollment at Harvard Law lowest since 1960s after affirmative action ruling. Fox News reports that tech journalist putting together investor group to buy Washington Post rejects Elon Musk in advance. Trump wants 5% NATO defense spending target, Europe told, and Trump says European Union must buy U.S. oil and gas in trade ultimatum. Alaska governor asks Trump to roll back restrictions on oil and gas drilling. Trump team warns Starmer's horrible, arrogant ambassador pick means Britain will be locked out of key discussions, as Trump campaign advisor calls incoming UK ambassador to US a moron. Trump attributes any potential shutdown to President Biden, stating it is his responsibility to resolve. The government funding bill has successfully passed and is now on its way to Biden, effectively preventing a shutdown. Meanwhile, Steve Bannon advocates for raising taxes on the affluent. Additionally, the Social Security Fairness Act has been forwarded to Biden, aiming to repeal provisions that diminish Social Security benefits for individuals who also receive other benefits. Tayyip O'Shan must pay $123 million for misleading investors about Terra USD's stability. A Romanian national in the U.S. is sentenced to 20 years for NetWalker ransomware attacks, which led to millions in ransom payments. In the U.S., a theft of 5 million payment card details serves as a cautionary reminder to monitor Christmas spending. Volkswagen has reportedly reached an agreement with the union following intense negotiations. It has been mentioned that the Volkswagen union indicated that labor negotiations were at a standstill after 4 days of discussions. In Switzerland, the world's steepest cable car has been unveiled, which ascends to the James Bond revolving restaurant. Additionally, NASA and Axiom Space are reportedly speeding up their plans for a free-flying space station. Stonehenge might have been built to bring together early British farming communities, according to research. Malaysia has decided to initiate a fresh search for the MH370 plane, which disappeared 10 years ago with 239 individuals on board. Nigerian officials have confiscated 2.179 tons of pangolin scales and apprehended a significant broker. Russia has enacted a law prohibiting migrant children from attending schools unless they are proficient in Russian. This move has been criticized for potentially increasing economic and security challenges. Meanwhile, China's Global Times has remarked that the spy drone incident highlights the U.S. as a source of delusion and irrationality. Additionally, thousands have gathered at the U.S. Embassy in Cuba to protest against the trade embargo. Mexicans blame U.S. for arms trafficking and reject the possibility of foreign agents operating on their territory, as it has been reported that Mexico devastated by Iron River of guns from U.S. Pentagon says it doubled the number of U.S. troops in Syria before Assad's fall, and U.S. lifts $10 million bounty on HTS leader after talks in Syrian capital. 7 days ago, it has been reported as Syrian rebel leader said, territory will not be used to launch attacks against Israel. Palestinian Americans sue Biden over failure to evacuate relatives stuck in Gaza. Israeli settlers set mosque on fire in occupied West Bank. At least 2 dead as car slams into crowded Christmas market in Germany. Saudi doctor who crashed into German Christmas market, killing at least 2, is an anti-Islam activist, claimed in a 7-year-old dies in stabbing attack at Croatia school. Russia's central bank maintains its key interest rate at 21%. During a lengthy live event, Putin reflects that he should have initiated a full-scale invasion of Ukraine earlier. The Russian government mandates IPS to disclose the identities of VPN users, continuing its crackdown a year after the ban of the ShadowSocks protocol. In Germany Christmas market attack, Saudi doctor arrested, after 2 killed and 68 injured. Saudi Arabia warned Germany ahead of Christmas market ramming, source claims. Houthis fire a ballistic missile named Palestine 2 at Tel Aviv. It has been commented as Netanyahu to skip Auschwitz liberation event in Poland over ICC arrest fears. GitHub is facing a significant issue with 4.5 million inauthentic stars, which is causing confusion among users. Meanwhile, Microsoft has acknowledged an auto HDR bug in Windows 11, and has consequently halted updates. Additionally, Tether has announced a $775 million investment in the video-sharing platform Rumble, leading to a remarkable 41% increase in RUM shares. Research highlights 13 proteins significantly linked to brain aging, with these proteins appearing to increase at ages 57, 70, and 78. The FDA has given the green light to Zepbound tirzepatide as the sole prescription medication for moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea in adults with obesity. Initially, Zepbound was approved for weight reduction. A group showcases the first instance of quantum teleportation using congested internet cables. Pharrell, Elton John, and Lainey Wilson are included in the Oscars Best Original Song shortlist. Levi's is collaborating with Bob Dylan to recreate his wardrobe for A Complete Unknown. An animated Ghostbusters movie is being developed by Sony Animation and Netflix. Get your daily news fix with NewsSourceScrawler's latest edition, December 20, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube Music Charts. Global Top Songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. PT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die with a Smile. Madhu Banti Bakshi and Divya present A.J. Ki Rat. Feelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's Global Weekly Top Songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die with a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US Digital Top Seller starting December 9, 2024. No More Snow, Hogwarts Legacy, Fueled Up, Master Spy, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 3, 2024, to Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis ImageLarge is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. A large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. UK Arts and Media reject plan to let AI firms use copyrighted material. Lil Wayne's AI Kendrick Lamar diss track goes viral and causes confusion. Anthropic announced alignment faking in large language models answer, where the model believes its responses won't be used for training. In 2024, a total of $2.2 billion was stolen from cryptocurrency platforms. However, the volume of hacks remained relatively stable as the year progressed, with activity from the DPRK slowing significantly after July. Research indicates that Bitcoin would require more than 300 consecutive days of downtime to effectively protect itself from the looming threat of quantum computing. Bloomberg notes that the removal of Tether could jeopardize Europe's opportunity to participate in the anticipated cryptocurrency boom, led by Trump. Bloomberg's editor-in-chief asserts that paywalls are the most secure method to ensure job stability for journalists. Mozilla warns that the proposed contractual remedies in the United States versus Google case could jeopardize the essential function of independent browsers. New Zealand becomes the first country to offer a nationwide direct-to-smartphone Starlink service. Trump's border czar states that he requires funding and a minimum of 100,000 beds to implement deportation plans. Advocates reportedly train immigrants to prepare to stay in the U.S. during Trump's administration. It has been reported that, as landowners resist, Texas border wall is fragmented and constructed in remote locations. Donald Trump expresses a desire to lead the charge in eliminating the debt ceiling and warns of a government shutdown if his demand for a debt limit increase is not met, attributing blame to Biden if such an event occurs. Rand Paul suggests Elon Musk as a candidate for House Speaker. Paris Hilton considers a potential political campaign, following her successful advocacy for an at-risk youth bill. Japan considers nuclear the most affordable baseload power source by 2040 and aims for 40 to 50% of its power supply to come from renewables by the same year. Biden establishes an economy-wide climate goal, cutting emissions by 66% in 2035 compared to 2005 levels. A regulator warns that half of the U.S. faces a high risk of power shortages in the coming decade, as NERC highlighted the urgent need for resources over the next 10 years due to accelerating electricity demand growth, according to the 2024 LTRA. Parliament approves legislation permitting foreign banks to conduct business in Ethiopia. Syria's biggest refinery ceases operations due to the halt in Iranian oil supply. The UK election watchdog seeks new donation regulations to address potential influence from Elon Musk. It is reported that Elon Musk is contemplating financial support for Nigel Farage's Populist Party, which could significantly impact UK politics. With Gaza death trap Doctors Without Borders, the MSF report exposes Israel's campaign of total destruction. White House says Biden will visit Pope Francis and Italy's PM Meloni in final international trip of his presidency. A report from Israel claimed, soldiers say open fire policies in Gaza too loose, leading to civilian deaths. Amazon postpones return to office requirement for many employees because of lack of office space. FedEx is separating its freight division, forming FedEx Freight spinoff to establish the biggest LTL carrier. Research indicates Waymo's autonomous taxi system offers much greater safety than human drivers. Men die from pneumonia after using bat poop to grow marijuana. It has been commented that copyright abuse is getting Luigi Mangione merch removed from the internet, as United Health gets Luigi Mangione t-shirt pulled with copyright complaint. Disturbing murder case solved after Google Street View catches suspected killer putting body in trunk. Research indicates the initial proof of ancient religious practices in a Galilee cave, with a 35,000 years old tortoise shell carving potentially representing the Holy Land's earliest ritual behavior. A silver amulet discovered in a Frankfurt grave is considered the oldest evidence of Christianity, located north of the Alps. The sarcophagus of the real Santa Claus has been found in a Turkish church annex. Youth drug use in the U.S. is experiencing a significant decline following the pandemic. Veteran suicides have decreased since 2018, according to a new VA report, but they continue to be persistently steady. Immigration is propelling U.S. population growth to its highest rate in 23 years, with residents surpassing 340 million. A former high-ranking assistant to New York City's mayor has been indicted in a bribery conspiracy. In Malaysia, a court has cleared Najib's wife, Rasma, of charges related to money laundering and tax evasion. According to recent SEC filings, Trump has moved all his DJT shares into his revocable trust. Russia will continue to pose a threat to Europe after the Ukraine conflict, according to Finland. Estonia's chief intelligence officer emphasizes that NATO must deter Russia for the next decade to two. Meanwhile, Putin states that Russia is prepared to negotiate with Trump regarding the Ukraine war. Additionally, Hungary has granted rare political asylum to a fugitive Polish peace lawmaker, following Poland's issuance of an arrest warrant for the opposition politician facing criminal charges 8 days prior. Pakistan is reportedly working on missiles that could potentially reach the United States, according to a senior U.S. official. Meanwhile, a Pentagon report indicates that China has almost tripled its nuclear weapons since 2020. Additionally, Elon Musk's criticism of F-35s has sparked a discussion about the high cost of these fighter jets. In response, the Air Force Secretary has countered Musk's remarks on eliminating manned fighters, emphasizing he is not a warfighter. Real Madrid secures victory against Pachuca to claim the FIFA Intercontinental Cup. The global box office is anticipated to reach $33 billion by 2025. LeBron James becomes the NBA's all-time leader in regular season minutes played, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. U.S. economy expands at a rate of 3.1% in the third quarter, surpassing the earlier forecast. Research indicates that California's $20 minimum wage for fast food employees has not negatively impacted employment. IC deportations in FY 2024 have reached levels comparable to those during the Trump administration, as the Biden administration nears its conclusion. Microplastics in the air may be leading to lung and colon cancers. In the U.S., the FDA announced an update the healthy claim that manufacturers can voluntarily use on food packages, which contain a certain amount of recommended food and meet specific limits in sugars, fat, and sodium. California squirrels have developed a taste for meat in surprise discovery. Syrian interim government plans to disclose a list of names of former Assad regime officials who are wanted. Putin declared that Russia transported 4,000 Iranian troops from Syria to Tehran, and he refuted claims of Russian defeat in Syria, stating that Israel is the primary beneficiary. It has been remarked that Israel's Netanyahu is focusing on Iran following his successes against Hamas, Hezbollah, and Syria. The Hill comments as, Musk floods X with spending bill misinformation. The Atlantic comments as, the GOP is treating Musk like he's in charge. The Guardian comments as, Elon Musk is becoming a one-man rogue state, it's time we reined him in. YouTube announces stricter measures against clickbait titles in India. Influencers predict that Meta's platforms, particularly Instagram, will gain the most if a U.S. TikTok ban occurs, with Instagram projected to account for over half of Meta's U.S. ad revenue by 2025, according to a report. MrBeast leases Egyptian pyramids for 100 hours to create a YouTube video. Federal authorities claim Chinese government placed an agent in Southern California to sway local government decisions. China advises making the right choice following Trump's claim that he and she can resolve global issues. China is reportedly increasing its Pacific activities, with Taiwan invasion deemed not possible by 2027, according to Department of Defense officials. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 in the works for 2027 release. In Japan, Evangelion anime launches transforming fast food robots in McDonald's collaboration. Nintendo Switch finally surpasses PlayStation 2's lifetime sales in the U.S. Sweden will no longer fund UNRWA aid agency, minister says. AP comments as, for thousands of Jews, Israel still doesn't feel safe after the October 7th attacks, so they're leaving. In the U.S., EPA staffers demand Biden release climate funds withheld over Gaza. 7 months ago, a pro-Hamas group got $50 million U.S. grant under Inflation Reduction Act, senator says.
Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, December 19, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. APT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die with a Smile. Madhubanti Bagshi and Divya present AJ Ki Rat. Peelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's global weekly top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die with a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, and Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US digital top sellers starting December 9, 2024. No More Snow, Hogwarts Legacy, Fueled Up, Master Spy, Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list for the period from Tuesday, December 3, 2024 to Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones, and The Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis Image Large is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. A large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. Apple discontinues iPhone hardware subscription service development. Apple discusses AI feature implementation with Tencent and ByteDance in China, according to sources. EU increases demands on Apple to share features with competitors, while Apple argues that Meta's 15 data law requests would compromise privacy. GitHub introduces a complementary version of its Copilot. OpenAI reveals 1-800-CHAT-GPT, a service enabling phone calls and messages with ChatGPT. Microsoft has purchased approximately 500,000 NVIDIA Hopper chips this year, marking a significant acquisition of NVIDIA AI chips that surpasses that of its competitors. The U.S. Supreme Court has decided to review a case challenging the TikTok ban. According to Wall Street Journal, the U.S. is considering a ban on a Chinese-manufactured router used in millions of American homes, with TP-Link potentially facing a U.S. ban due to compromised routers being exploited for Chinese attacks. China has unveiled a hit list of U.S. naval targets that could be targeted in a future conflict. Roku locks exclusive U.S. streaming rights for X Games Aspen and a soon-to-be-announced X Games event coming summer 2025. The Golden Globes 2025 gift bags feature $1 million worth of items. Brazilian judge orders Adele song removed over plagiarism claim. In the United States, former President Trump insists on renegotiating a bipartisan budget agreement just days before the potential shutdown. Meanwhile, the House GOP, influenced by Elon Musk, is considering abandoning the spending bill. Mike Johnson is encountering increasing opposition from within the GOP as Musk advocates for a government shutdown. Additionally, a poll indicates that most Americans disapprove of Trump's suggestions to challenge the boundaries of democracy. Lastly, Democrats mock Trump as the vice president, while Musk interferes with the government funding bill. California has declared an emergency due to the bird flu outbreak. Meanwhile, officials in the U.S. have announced the eradication of invasive murder hornets. In the UK, police are reportedly destroying 100 dogs each month following the ban on XL bully breeds. Experiencing structural sexism from birth is linked to quicker memory decline in late life for both black and white women in the U.S. 13 ancient Egyptian mummies were discovered with gold tongues, believed to assist them in speaking in the afterlife. Simulations reveal that the ancient hominin Lucy was not an adept runner. Disney reaches $233 million settlement for minimum wage law violations. Teamsters initiate the most extensive strike against Amazon in U.S. history. Disney's settlement of Trump defamation case sparks controversy at ABC News. Alberta introduces a U.S. border security strategy featuring sheriffs, canines, and drones, while Canada suggests a collaborative police force with the U.S. to address Trump's border issues. Trump remarked that Canada becoming the 51st state would be a fantastic idea. A New York resident admits to running a clandestine police station for the Chinese government in Lower Manhattan. China refutes the existence of secret police stations following the man's guilty plea. The Federal Reserve in the United States has decreased interest rates by 0.25 percentage points. However, it anticipates fewer rate cuts in the year 2025. Meanwhile, the Bank of Japan has maintained its interest rates at 0.25%, resulting in the yen reaching a one-month low. Additionally, China is constructing the largest artificial island airport in Dalian. Elon Musk's alleged drug use and connections with Vladimir Putin have reportedly hindered SpaceX from seeking higher security clearance, according to a report. Following an investigation into January 6th, the House GOP has aligned with Trump and targeted Liz Cheney. Previously, Trump advocated for an FBI investigation into Republican Liz Cheney regarding her involvement in the January 6th panel. Trump mentioned that Liz Cheney could be in a lot of trouble due to her actions with the January 6th committee. Uber and its CEO have each contributed $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund. Chinese astronauts achieve a world record spacewalk lasting 9 hours. A Chinese company successfully tests a supersonic aircraft ramjet, advancing China's efforts to develop a supersonic engine capable of transporting passengers from Beijing to New York in just 2 hours.
NASA enveille à large Mars chopé featuring 6 rotorblades.
In Syria to Xinjiang link, China warns leaders in Damascus not to threaten security elsewhere. UN migration chief tells AFP, not advising large-scale returns to Syria now. Human Rights Watch says Israel's deprivation of water in Gaza is active genocide. CATL plans to construct 1,000 electric vehicle battery swap stations across China to alleviate range anxiety. Additionally, CATL has collaborated on the development of 10 new electric vehicle models that feature swappable batteries. The EPA has granted a waiver for California's advanced Clean Cars 2 regulations, which apply to light-duty vehicles, as well as its omnibus low NOx regulation for heavy-duty highway and off-road vehicles and engines. The announcement of the world's first grid-scale nuclear fusion power plant has been made in the United States. Chinese behavior remarks by MIT scientist Rosalind Picard rattle top AI conference, as NeurIPS keynote speaker apologizes for reference to Chinese student. Flat earthers befuddled as they visit Antarctica and Earth appears to be round. Cats beat babies at word association, study finds. A survey reports that more than half of Hong Kongers are experiencing depression, marking the highest level in 7 years. In 2025, the Oregon psilocybin industry in the U.S. will concentrate on refining its pioneering program. A study has revealed that a Chinese gene has remained unchanged for 3,000 years in the region known as the cradle of civilization. El Salvador plans to reduce its Bitcoin initiatives as part of a $1.4 billion IMF agreement. Hong Kong has granted licenses to 4 new cryptocurrency trading platforms in its regulatory advancement. Illegal casinos are exploiting the online game platform Roblox to attract children into gambling activities. Databricks co-founder proposes a $1 million reward to address AI coding challenges. IDC reveals that China has surpassed other countries to become the largest market for wrist-worn devices, driving global expansion. A Chinese self-driving trucking firm shifts its focus to generative AI for developing video games. Recent studies indicate that the moon might have originated just a brief time following the formation of the Earth. A full mastodon jaw was discovered in New York when a homeowner noticed teeth in their backyard. The earliest recognized mammal ancestors have been found on the Spanish island of Majorca.
Get your daily news fix with News Source Scrawler's latest edition, December 18, 2024, featuring crypto, politics, tech, and more. Number 1 hit and more. YouTube music charts. Global top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. PT features Rose and Bruno Mars. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars collaborate on Die with a Smile. Madhu Banti Bakshi and Divya present A.J. Key Rat. Feelings is by Kundakuri Shankar Babu and Lakshmi Dasa. Spotify's global weekly top songs from December 6 to December 12, 2024. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars Die with a Smile. Rose and Bruno Mars APT. Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. And Wham's Last Christmas. Nintendo US digital top seller starting December 9, 2024. No More Snow Hogwarts Legacy Fueled Up. Master Spy Super Mario Party Jamboree. Steam's most popular games. Discover the globally top-selling and top-played games on Steam. Based on the top 100 products by revenue list, for the period from Tuesday, December 3, 2024, to Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Path of Exile 2, Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, PUBG Battlegrounds, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. CISA's cybersecurity alerts and advisories. CISA and EPA have issued a joint fact sheet highlighting the dangers that internet-connected HMIs present to the WWS sector. Jeffrey Xiang's Trellis Image Large is a substantial 3D asset generation model. It processes text or image prompts to produce high-quality 3D assets in formats like radiance fields, 3D Gaussians, and meshes. The foundation of Trellis is a unified structured latent SLAT representation, enabling decoding into various output formats. It utilizes rectified flow transformers specifically designed for SLAT as its robust backbones. a large-scale pre-trained models with parameters reaching up to 2 billion, trained on a vast 3D asset dataset containing 500K diverse objects. Trellis notably outperforms existing methods, including recent ones at comparable scales, and demonstrates adaptable output format selection and local 3D editing capabilities, which were absent in previous models. FTC, Illinois Attorney General take action against Grubhub for harming diners, workers, and small businesses, as company to pay $25 million, end junk fees and backup earnings claims to resolve charges of consumer protection and competition law violations. FTC issues rules requiring hotels, ticket sellers to reveal junk fees. In the U.S., students overpaid elite colleges $685 million, price-fixing suit says. 2 months ago it has been reported as Harvard and Yale among dozens of universities targeted in financial aid price-fixing lawsuit. Meta has been penalized with a fine of $263 million due to a security breach in 2018 that impacted approximately 3 million Facebook users in the European Union. Interpol is calling for the discontinuation of the term pig butchering, as it is believed to cause distress to victims of online scams. A recent poll in the United States reveals that 41% of young voters consider the killing of the United Healthcare CEO to be an acceptable action. Reuters indicates that China intends to set a record budget deficit of 4% of GDP in 2025, according to sources. CNBC states that UK inflation increased to 2.6% in November, aligning with expectations, as UK inflation reaches an 8-month high of 2.6%, prompting calls to maintain interest rates. It has been noted that the Biden administration's gas export report might challenge Trump's energy policy, as the Biden administration releases an LNG export study, advising caution on new permits. BBC Studios and the Walt Disney Company have unveiled their first Bluey animated feature film. Tom Cruise has been honored with the U.S. Navy's highest civilian award. The directors for Beyond the Spider-Verse have been announced as Bob Persichetti and Justin K. Thompson. The Supreme Court declined to hear appeals from broadband groups challenging New York's rate caps, upholding the state's low-income broadband rate law. Elon Musk and SpaceX are under federal scrutiny for breaching security reporting regulations. It has been reported that Shine will need to hand over Indian data and control of local operations to re-enter the Indian market. Russia apprehends an Uzbek citizen in connection with a bomb attack that killed a high-ranking general. Taiwan is negotiating with Amazon's Kuiper regarding satellite communications due to concerns about China. The Department of Homeland Security reports that China, Russia, Iran, and Israel are using SS-7 to spy on individuals in the United States. YouTube announces that its technology will soon detect AI replicas of celebrities and creators. This comes as YouTube collaborates with CAA to allow talent to identify and remove AI deepfakes of themselves. Meanwhile, a U.S. trade tribunal determines that Lenovo smartphones violate Ericsson patents. Additionally, Forbes is severing relationships with freelance writers due to Google spam policies. The European Super League has been reintroduced as the Unify League, which will be available for free viewing and will include 96 clubs. The NFL has signed an agreement with Betches to create football content specifically aimed at Gen Z and millennial women. Conor McGregor has expressed his willingness to participate in a boxing match with Logan Paul, which is scheduled to take place in India. Rivian will reduce vehicle production in 2024 due to supply chain problems that have intensified recently. Meanwhile, Reuters indicates that the Trump transition team intends to implement a comprehensive reversal of Biden's electric vehicle and emissions policies, with Trump also planning to decrease funding for electric vehicles and charging infrastructure. Additionally, Boston Dynamics is reducing its workforce by 5% as it faces financial difficulties. The notorious paper that widely promoted an unverified COVID-19 treatment has been withdrawn. According to the New York Times, major corporations accepted undisclosed payments to facilitate the unrestricted distribution of opioids. An Alabama woman is reportedly in exceptional health following the third-ever pig kidney transplant. According to doctors, she receives a kidney from a pig years after donating one herself. NATO assumes control of military aid coordination to Kiev from the U.S., according to a source. In the United States, a lawsuit alleges that the State Department has established loopholes for Israel regarding military aid and human rights, while Palestinians file a lawsuit against the State Department over U.S. military assistance to Israel. The BBC states that a plot to assassinate the Pope has been thwarted by UK intelligence. Musk and Trump are perceived similarly by Americans, according to an APNORC poll. Trump declares that federal employees unwilling to return to the office will be dismissed. It has been reported that Elon Musk is now wealthier than Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg together. UniCredit increases its control of voting rights in Commerzbank to 28%. Starting in 2027, the U.S. will mandate rear seat belt reminders in all vehicles. A driverless bus service in Scotland will be discontinued because of insufficient interest. Women victimized in rape club at California prison get record $116 million settlement. U.S. repatriates 3 Guantanamo detainees, leaving 27 at prison, as U.S. releases a Kenyan prisoner held for nearly 18 years without charges, and Pentagon repatriates 2 Malaysian prisoners who admitted to war crimes linked to Bali bombing. Suspect charged with killing United Healthcare's CEO as an act of terrorism. Popeye and Tintin will become public domain characters in 2025, joining works by Faulkner and Hemingway. Disney has removed a transgender storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose series, stating that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects on their own terms. A UCLA diversity report reveals that white men dominate the most watched streaming shows as lead actors, series creators, and audiences desire fresh, more diverse content. Canada has implemented economic sanctions targeting 5 Venezuelan officials, among them the president of the High Court. Authorities in the United States have apprehended 2 Colombian individuals involved in human smuggling. Bolivia has released an arrest warrant for former President Morales concerning trafficking a minor. Walmart is testing body cameras for staff, amid rising shopper violence in the retail sector. Honda and Nissan are set to discuss a possible large-scale merger, following a joint research agreement on fundamental technologies for future SDV platforms. Newborns of TSMC employees in Taiwan account for 1.8% of the nation's total births in 2023. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella claims that Google earns more revenue from Windows than Microsoft itself, highlighting Google's stronghold in search and distribution. Bing search is enhanced with speed, accuracy, and efficiency using SLM models and TensorRT-LM. Seagate introduces a 32 TB Exos M hard drive utilizing HAMR technology. U.S. imposes sanctions on an entity and individuals involved in a virtual currency money laundering network, supporting the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. U.S. targets North Korea with sanctions for backing Russia and advancing ballistic missile technology. U.S. imposes sanctions on drug traffickers associated with New Zealand. In the United States, the Department of Homeland Security (DHS) has introduced a final rule to assist companies in filling more positions and to enhance worker protections within the H-2 programs. Additionally, the DHS has fortified the H-1B program, enabling U.S. employers to more swiftly fill essential roles. Meanwhile, Trump's transition team is considering the expansion of ankle monitors for illegal immigrants who are not in custody. Furthermore, a survey reveals that over half of Generation X parents are concerned about financially supporting their children into adulthood. Approximately 36 high-rise buildings in South Florida are reportedly sinking. Paul Watson, a whaling activist, has been freed after Denmark declined to extradite him. 5 months prior, he was detained in Greenland at Japan's request. Scientists have discovered that barn owls camouflage themselves